This is the site of a botfly who has laid its eggs into poor Alice Nugent here, who now has a very, very painful worm with a barbed head growing inside her. Particularly at night, it raises its angry head.
Is this a fairly common thing in Belize for people to get
In the bush, yes, it is
butterflies?
very
So
common.
she probably picked it up in the bush.
Yeah, probably over. Well, we probably don't want to mention where you got it in case the
nobody will go.
tourist association might be a little offended if you do that.
But probably from an area where there's water and mosquitoes. Is that can be borne by mosquitoes?
They're
It's
not
a fly.
they can carried by the eggs can be carried on the wings of other insects, and also you can they can lay their eggs on the bush that could brush up against. So it's always good to make sure you oil up your skin before you go
So in
into
other words, you
the
don't
bush
have
and
to-
don't have exposed areas.
You don't have to be bit, it can just get onto your skin.
Yes,
And
then find its way. Yeah.
And how long have you had it there, Alice, do you think?
About 2 weeks, and I thought it was a doctor fly, but it was not getting any better, and it was painful. It went from pain to itch, and back to pain.
So what we're waiting for now is the proboscis. You see there's 2 holes there, and we're trying to aggravate the worm a little bit so that it raises its head out of there, which is why I put the clay on to actually close both of the holes up. When it sticks its proboscis up, I'm going to apply more pressure and try and make it exit out.
So
the
those
other
are
hole.
the holes that it breathes through, so it has
Yes.
to breathe through something.
Yes. See, the hole there came open.
Can you feel it inside there, JJ?
I can feel a lump, but very often the lump is much larger at this stage than the worm. You generally don't feel that you've got one until 3 days after, and then it starts growing from there. All right, you see it coming up? See? See the proboscis? See it
Oh, yes.
coming?
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
feel it.
Got him. Yep, there he is. I think I got him all.
Now, would there likely only be one in there, or could
I
there be
have taken
several?
as many as 20-something out of someone, so
In one spot.
yeah.
Can you see it's a worm? Because I want to picture
Yes.
with my camera.
You can get up now.
Oh, do you have it on the thing?
Yes.
There he is.
Can you see the barbs on his head? You can get, if you'd like to have a closer look at him, I got the magnifying glass down there. You can.
That little thing is
Yes.
like, almost
You see-
looks like a little seed.
Yes, and why he is so painful, he has barbs around the head, which is what makes him cling on to your flesh. Now, that turned out to be a fairly painless way of doing it as opposed to the cigarette method, which burns the skin around and smokes the worm out. So what we did was we covered the holes with bentonite clay, which is a really good way of drawing out poisons from people's bodies, and it also blocked up the holes, so it aggravated that worm that he wanted to get out.
So you've taken one beef worm out,
Yes,
which is the larva of the botfly,
correct.
and
Not to be confused with bottleless fly, which is a completely different thing. The botfly is a different breed altogether. The bottleless fly is like a Canadian black fly, and then this is a larger insect. Right. So what I'm doing is covering up the hole. Make sure that there's not another one in there, because I'm still feeling a lump, which could be just the site of all the damage that the little worm has created in the skin, but it's not unusual to find more than one in the same site.
and what does the bentonite clay do?
Well, bentonite clay is a really good healer. it draws all kinds of things out of pores, you know, like poison. You can actually buy food-grade bentonite clay, which is good for any kind of chemical poisoning. This is mixed with water, and I usually keep some in the fridge already mixed for little, you know, if you get thorn cuts, or if you cut yourself with something like when you're cleaning fish or lobsters and you get a little spear on your hand from something. This is good to get the poison out. So we're going to leave it for a little bit and see if anything gets angry in there. You'll feel anything again. If you feel anything again, let me know.
So we've got the wound here where the beef worm was taken out. And now what are you going to do?
I'm going to clean around the area because we don't want to get any secondary infection, because now it's a little bit open. See, immediately bubbles up with the peroxide, which is good. And at the end of it, I'm going to put a little dab of Bactroban.
And what is that you're putting on now?
Hydrogen peroxide. You could put that on or alcohol, but alcohol stings.
So does this.
Yes, so does that, according to
What kind of alcohol?
rubbing alcohol. Well, if you wanted to part with your vodka, you could, but recommend the cheaper version, you know. At least if it's going to be vodka, it could be something, one of those lesser brands
Make
that we
sure
don't want to put inside us.
Make sure it's
Alice
hyper.
doesn't even want cheap vodka inside her.
So you're putting something else on now as the final stage. What's
Yes, it's antibiotic, it's Bactroban. But this will do two things, because since we're still unsure whether there might be something in there, this is not only putting an topical antibiotic on the site of where we've just operated, it's also closing off any holes that are there. If there's something else in there, there should be a response from within, from that next little visitor. But I don't think there's anything in there at the moment, but Alice will know.
And you said this is called Bactroban. How do you spell that?
Bactroban. It's just like Neosporin, but it's an antibiotic, like a triple antibiotic. It's generally the topical antibiotic of choice, is it tends not to have side effects. Well, I don't know whether the company's going to sue me here for saying that.
But any topical
Neosporin, polysporin, Bactroban, they're all in that triple antibiotic range. Yes.
That's what I put on the other night.